Welcome to The Terrible Take, a daily segment telling Steelers Nation what's on our mind. I'm Alex Kozora. I know this is a little after the fact, but we have to talk about how good Mike Tomlin was in last week's appearance on the Pivot podcast with Ryan Clark, Fred Taylor, and Channing Crowder. Enough has probably already been said about Tomlin, who delivered something closer to a sermon than a conversation, a masterclass on how to lead, how to love, and how to follow your true calling. But there's a reason why Tomlin shines so brightly. He had a great cast of guys around him in Clark, Taylor, and Crowder. The interview was filmed in Tomlin's home, which probably did make him feel more comfortable, but he's at his best when he's around ex-players. Whether it's this podcast or his in-season appearance last year on the Pat McAfee Show, another solid interview, though slightly stilted by the virtual nature of it all, Tomlin can be as real as possible when he's around former players. Guys who have lived the game like he has and played it on an even higher level. Tomlin can let his guard down a bit, talk shop. Though he knows there will be plenty of media attention ensuing, he understands that Clark, Taylor, and Crowder aren't angling for a story, just a valuable, meaningful conversation. And as Dave Bryan mentioned during the podcast last week, this may be the wave of the future, one where ex-players can thrive. That's what we're seeing from the Pivot and I Am Athlete, which, by the way, those two teams used to be one before splitting off into their own ventures. McAfee is still the gold standard of player-finding independent media success. It isn't sanitized and watered down into clicks and sound bites by big parent companies. Of course, you don't have to be an athlete to forge that path, at least I hope not, or I guess my left bench self is in big trouble. But they, and I like to think us, have found that niche. Be real, be honest. Be fair, avoid the noise and the low-hanging fruit. That brings out the best in anyone, and when you're around them, the best out of coaches, like Mike Tomlin. Be sure to follow us at SteelersDepot.com and check out episodes of The Terrible Take every day at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And check out The Terrible Podcast myself and Dave Bryan every Tuesday and Friday.